Drone footage allows us to see familiar things in a completely new way, or even lift the veil of mystery surrounding a particular place. Sometimes a single aerial perspective can tell an entire story without words. In this video, I present a selection of striking footage captured from above. Enjoy watching. A man was walking along a trail in Angeles National Forest when the surrounding area suddenly filled with fog. At that moment, a white-winged horse appeared at the edge of a cliff. The creature stopped for several seconds, allowing the witness to quickly activate his camera and begin filming. The horse then spread its wings and flew away. The footage was extremely clear, but it did not answer the question of how a horse could have wings when such anatomy is impossible. On the 9th of July, 2024, an unusual incident occurred in a national park in the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. A tourist was walking along a trail when a strange, echoing roar attracted his attention. The man moved deeper into the forest and soon witnessed something impossible. In the distance, he saw a leopard fighting a creature that looked like a centaur from ancient mythology. The shocked witness recorded the event on video. When the recording appeared online, most viewers called it a fake because the footage looked far too unrealistic. Some people, however, still believed that the person filming had truly encountered a centaur. In 2015, a group of urban explorers investigated the labyrinths of Devil's Cave in Mazatlan, Mexico. The place had long been surrounded by legends claiming that pirate treasure was still hidden there, and the friends decided to investigate. While exploring distant galleries, they accidentally discovered a concealed passage. After squeezing through it, they entered a small chamber from which another narrow corridor began. Near that opening, they encountered something that permanently changed their understanding of what might be hiding inside caves. They saw a tall, horned figure with dark skin moving toward the entrance to another part of the cave. It walked deeper into the underground passages as though returning home. This place was probably its shelter. The explorers captured the creature on camera, but did not attempt to discover where the passage led. For them, Devil's Cave stopped being merely an interesting route to explore. It became a place where the boundary between the familiar world and something frightening had disappeared. A young man launched a drone over Hoia Baciu forest in Romania in the hope of recording something unusual because the forest has long been known as an area of intense paranormal activity. During the flight, the camera recorded two figures in a wooded section. One of them was running quickly and clearly trying to escape, while the second followed with confident steps. The footage clearly shows that the pursuer was tall and heavily built. It did not resemble a human, although it moved confidently on two legs. The silhouette of the other figure, however, was clearly human. Watching the footage creates the impression that the large creature was not merely chasing its victim, but tormenting them. At one point, it reduced the distance between them, but then slowed down when the person became tired. Eventually, the creature ended the pursuit. The incident was actively discussed online for a long time, and enthusiasts of the paranormal regarded it as further confirmation of the anomalies associated with Hoia Baciu forest. A group of friends set up camp in Mount Rainier National Park in Washington state and were preparing to sleep in their tent. Suddenly, one of them noticed a large winged silhouette on a hill. At first, the men thought it was a bird, but its wingspan was far greater than that of any known bird. When they looked more closely, they experienced a strange feeling because the creature was a horse with wings, exactly like Pegasus in the legends. They froze, unsure whether to believe their eyes. Interestingly, other videos showing winged horses occasionally appear online. This leads some people to seriously consider whether creatures from fairy tales might also exist in reality. A man went hiking in California's Redwood National Forest and became lost. While searching for the tourist route, he suddenly heard footsteps. A few seconds later, several fantastic creatures emerged from behind the trees. From the waist up, They looked like ordinary men with human faces and torsos. Below the waist, however, their bodies belonged to horses. The man immediately thought of centaurs and could not believe his eyes. He took out his phone and recorded a short video before hurrying away from the area. Even now, he cannot understand how he could have encountered centaurs when they are not supposed to exist. Custer State Park in South Dakota attracts tourists who want to enjoy the beauty of the local landscape. One tourist left the usual route and approached a cave. He wanted to examine it more closely, but at that moment a creature emerged whose existence was difficult to believe. It was a fairly tall figure resembling a human, but its body was covered with thick fur and its head looked like that of a wolf. At the same time, the creature walked on two legs and clearly behaved like an intelligent being. The witness did not wait to be noticed. He quickly took out his phone and recorded a short video. After that, he tried to leave the area as quickly as possible. When the footage appeared online, most viewers suggested that the man had encountered a real werewolf, the legendary creature that hides in dark caves by day and comes out to hunt at night. In the valley of Yosemite National Park in California, a woman was walking along a scenic trail between sheer cliffs. At one point, her gaze moved downward toward the base of the slopes, where she noticed unusual figures. Some of them were clearly horses, but other creatures were moving beside them, and their appearance made the woman look more closely. They looked like strange hybrids, half horse and half human. The woman could not believe her eyes, so she took out her camera and began recording. After zooming in, she became convinced that the creatures truly had human torsos and horse legs. When she returned home, the woman published the video online. Viewers immediately pointed out that the creatures strongly resembled centaurs, mythical half-human, half-horse beings from ancient Greek legends. It was difficult to believe that the footage was real because science rejects the existence of such hybrids. Walker Creek has long been known for numerous stories about sightings of skinwalkers, mystical beings from the folklore of the indigenous peoples of North America. According to legend, skinwalkers are shamans who have mastered the forbidden art of transformation. They are described as creatures with unnaturally long limbs, pale skin, and a frightening, almost animal-like gaze. Quite recently, another report of this mystical creature appeared online. A farmer from Utah published a video showing a mysterious being, a pale humanoid figure with long arms, an elongated muzzle, and an extremely thin body. The creature approached the farm, but after noticing a person, it quickly fled. The monster in the footage truly resembled classic descriptions of skinwalkers. However, its elongated muzzle looked slightly different. This led people to conclude that Utah might be home not only to skinwalkers, but also to other equally mysterious creatures. On the 5th of October, 2022, a forest ranger was patrolling the area around Point Pleasant in West Virginia. Suddenly, a truly fantastic creature emerged from the depths of the forest. It was a pale, humanoid figure more than 10 meters tall. Another distinctive feature was its incredibly long arms and massive hands, which hung almost to the ground and gave its silhouette an even more frightening appearance. The ranger was shocked by what he saw, but managed to capture the creature on camera before it disappeared into the forest again. The most surprising event occurred the next morning. The creature appeared in the same place once more. It simply stood beside the trees, as though checking whether the person who had seen it would return. For the ranger, the encounter remained a mystery forever, and he never learned what he had seen twice. During flooding on the River Dee in England, a resident of Chester surveyed the flooded area with a drone. He suddenly noticed 4 horses trapped in an icy current near Chester Meadows. The man understood that the animals would soon die and therefore spread information about what he had seen by every possible means. A paddleboarder named Jeff responded to the distress call. He took his board and rushed to the scene. When he reached the enclosure, he discovered that the gate was firmly locked with a rusty bolt. For 40 minutes, while risking being swept away by the violent current, Jeff worked to open the lock. The bolt finally gave way, and the frightened animals had a path to safety. The story became an example of how modern technology and human courage can work together to save those who cannot save themselves. A man set out to explore one of the caves in Cueva del Guacharo National Park in Venezuela. After entering, he discovered something that made him freeze in horror. Deep inside the cavern lay a terrifying creature. Its large dark limbs resembled spider legs, giving it the appearance of a monster. After approaching slightly closer, the man realized that it was dead because the body did not move and emitted a heavy, unpleasant smell of decomposition. The researcher recorded what he saw, but he still does not know what kind of body he found in the cave. It may have been the carcass of an ordinary animal that looked frightening and strange because of decomposition and an unusual position. Or it may have been the body of a real monster. A man flew his drone high above the mountains in Spain to record breathtaking views and capture rare perspectives. At one point, the camera recorded something flying through the sky. When the man enlarged the image, he was shocked. It was a living creature, not an airplane. Its outline strongly resembled a dragon with an elongated body, powerful wings, and a long tail. When the man published the footage online, most users did not believe it, which is unsurprising because dragons are considered fictional creatures. The witness nevertheless continues to insist that the footage is genuine. He is certain that he saw a real dragon. In March of 2002, during Operation Anaconda in Afghanistan, an event occurred that became an example of exceptional courage and self-sacrifice. United States Air Force Combat Controller John Chapman displayed genuine heroism when SEAL personnel were surrounded by the enemy. Without hesitation, Chapman rushed to help. Under intense fire, he cleared an enemy bunker, suppressed firing positions, and opened a path for his comrades, giving them a chance to maneuver. Even after sustaining severe injuries, he did not withdraw and continued covering the group, giving his fellow service members a chance to escape. His selflessness helped save the lives of several soldiers. John Chapman died before the battle ended, but his actions remained forever in the memory of those who were there. For this act of courage, he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration of the United States. His story is not merely an account of war, but proof of what a person is capable of when placing the lives of others above their own. Early one morning, a man decided to film a coastal landscape with a drone. He flew the aircraft over a chosen section of shoreline and suddenly noticed something very large lying on the beach in the distance. He guided the drone toward it and realized that it was the carcass of a blue whale. It was later determined that the animal's body was about 18 meters long and weighed approximately 20 tons. The whale had apparently washed ashore only recently because its body had not yet undergone natural decomposition. The man immediately reported the discovery to the appropriate services. They responded quickly and removed the carcass from the beach before it began causing problems. Blue whales sometimes become stranded for various reasons. The most common include navigational errors caused by disruptions to echolocation, such as vessel noise, illness, disorientation during migration, and entry into unfamiliar coastal waters where navigation is more difficult. In some cases, powerful storms literally throw the enormous animals onto land. A cat climbed onto a tall pole and refused to come down. Its owner tried to persuade it and even asked the neighbors to stretch out a sheet in case the animal fell, but the cat remained high above the ground. Then his friend suggested an unusual idea. He arrived with a drone and flew it directly toward the cat. Perhaps the cat was frightened by the unusual flying device, or perhaps it had simply grown tired of sitting on the uncomfortable pole, but eventually it decided to climb down. This case became a vivid example of how unexpected ideas and modern gadgets can help in difficult situations. A man flew his drone over a forest in the hope of observing wild animals and recording something interesting. Instead of foxes and deer, however, the camera showed something completely different. A girl in a white dress was standing among the trees. This seemed strange, so the man guided the drone closer to get a better look at her. He then saw that the girl was extremely tall and that her skin was incredibly pale, almost transparent. When the man returned home, he decided to show the footage to his neighbors. Longtime residents told him that he was not the first person to see the girl. According to them, she had been appearing there for more than a century. The locals believe she is a ghost, and many legends are connected to her image. Some say that she was once the daughter of a forest ranger, while others claim she is a spirit protecting the forest. No one knows her true story. Two brothers traveled to the Pennyroyal Plateau in Kentucky to escape the noise and enjoy the silence. Instead of the peace they expected, however, they encountered something neither of them could explain. Near a pond, they saw a humanoid creature filling a small bucket with water. It moved calmly and without haste, as though carrying out a familiar task. At the same time, the creature resembled neither an animal nor a human being. When it finished collecting the water, it suddenly noticed the men and quickly left the area. The brothers remained confused, with no idea what they had seen. A researcher traveled to a remote part of the Brazilian Amazon. To study the hard-to-reach area, he decided to use a drone. While reviewing the recording, his attention was immediately drawn to several people. They were standing among the trees and holding spears. At the same time, the mysterious people were almost completely motionless. They had probably noticed the drone and were trying to remain unseen. This sight inevitably brings to mind one of the most secluded aspects of life in the Amazon, the existence of uncontacted tribes, people who deliberately avoid all contact with the outside world and live in isolation while preserving their traditional way of life. They are unfamiliar with modern technology, do not use the tools we take for granted, and build their lives in harmony with the jungle. There are only a few of them, and they intentionally remain far from settlements, roads, and any signs of civilization. On the 19th of September, 2021, the Cumbre Vieja volcano began erupting on the island of La Palma. A group of dogs became trapped in an area surrounded by lava flows. They were isolated on a small piece of land where a house had once stood. After several days, the animals were caught in a genuine fiery trap. They had neither food nor water, and the rescue services refused to help. Concerned citizens then took matters into their own hands. A group of volunteers organized a rescue operation using drones. Every day, they launched the aircraft and dropped supplies directly into the yard, taking care not to frighten the dogs and aiming for the safe area. When the eruption weakened, the volunteers were able to evacuate the animals. Their unusual idea helped save the dogs' lives. In 2023, a mysterious flying object appeared in the night sky above Miami, initially resembling a rocket. It appeared as though from nowhere and hovered for several minutes, as though studying the city. The object then disappeared silently in an unknown direction, leaving only questions behind. One of the witnesses managed to record it and publish the video online. It immediately attracted thousands of views, and opinions were divided. The suggested explanations included an airship, a drone, an alien spacecraft, and even a child's toy. Despite the number of theories, no one was able to determine what the object actually was. Neither military nor civilian agencies issued an official statement. On the 6th of September, 2016, the Daldecan River near Norilsk turned bright red. The water looked like blood, and its sinister color caused widespread concern. Photographs and videos spread rapidly online, generating rumors ranging from an industrial accident to a mystical omen. It was later discovered that the cause was an accident at the Nadezhda metallurgical plant operated by Norilsk Nickel. Heavy rain caused the dam at a filtration storage facility to overflow, after which a slurry pipeline ruptured. Chemical waste entered the river. Water samples confirmed high levels of iron salts and other heavy metals. These substances gave the water its frightening color. Every summer, when farmers begin cutting grass in their fields to make hay, a hidden danger appears, not for people but for wild animals. In fields near forests, newborn fawns sometimes hide in the grass and are very easy to overlook. This often leads to tragedy. A farmer named Hans knew about the danger and did not want to take the risk. Before beginning the mowing, he launched a drone equipped with a thermal camera over his field. This technology can detect living creatures even through dense vegetation. The drone did indeed find a fawn hidden in the grass. Hans immediately stopped the mowing machinery and personally went to the place where the drone had detected the animal. There he saw a small fawn. The farmer did not disturb it. Instead, he waited for its mother to return and then gently frightened both animals away so they would leave the field. After making sure they were safe, Hans resumed the mowing. A group of elderly people set out on a hike along scenic trails. Everyone was enthusiastic, but at one point a 75-year-old man fell behind the group and became lost. After an hour, the other hikers raised the alarm. Nearby were fields of tall grass and marshy terrain where it was easy to lose direction and end up in danger. They tried to find the man themselves and called out to him, but without success. They then contacted rescuers. The rescuers immediately deployed drones. From above, the aircraft quickly searched the dangerous areas, and only a few hours later the man was found. The rescue team evacuated him and took him to safety. The man was unharmed, but without the drones, the story might have ended very differently. A climber went to train on Mount Charleston in Nevada. After reaching a considerable height, he looked at what was happening below. In the valley, he saw a group of people with an unknown animal beside them. It looked like something between a wolf and a bear and was truly enormous. The beast's body was covered with thick, dark fur, and it occasionally produced a loud roar. What was surprising was not only the animal's size, but also how calmly it behaved around the people, who showed no fear either. It seemed less like a wild monster and more like a domestic animal that had long been accustomed to living among humans. The climber recorded a short video of the sight and later published it online. Unfortunately, despite receiving many views, no one was able to determine what kind of animal it was. In 2024, a farmer in California heard strange sounds coming from a field. They were quiet but distinct, as though someone was slowly moving through the dry grass. The man went outside to see what was happening. At that moment, he saw two glowing eyes in the darkness, staring directly at him. At first, the farmer thought it was a predator that had come too close to the house. Then the outline of a creature emerged from the darkness. It was a humanoid being with pale skin and extremely long limbs. It crawled on all fours without taking its eyes off the man. Despite his fear, the farmer managed to record a short video with his smartphone before rushing back into the house and locking every door because he did not know what to expect from the creature. A group of friends decided to explore a forest in a mountainous area with the help of a drone. They wanted to see the wilderness from above and capture untouched nature. Suddenly, the camera spotted a man who was completely alone. The friends thought he might be a lost tourist who needed help. They guided the drone closer to get a better look at the stranger. At that moment, the man noticed the aircraft. His face twisted with anger, and his posture became tense. He was holding something that resembled a rifle, and for a moment, it seemed that he was even aiming at the drone, preparing to shoot it down. But then he changed his mind, turned sharply, and hurried away. The friends could not understand who he was. Perhaps he was a member of an uncontacted tribe who had accidentally wandered far from his people's territory, or a member of an illegal group guarding a secret camp. Or perhaps he was simply a hermit who had avoided people for years. Whatever the truth, this man definitely did not want to be seen. In January of 2022, Turkey experienced abnormal frosts that became a serious trial for the region's wildlife. In the eastern provinces, temperatures fell to extreme levels and were accompanied by heavy snowfall. Snowdrifts blocked access to food, leaving both wild and domestic animals on the verge of survival. Rescuers and volunteers were deployed to deal with the consequences. They organized large expeditions, forcing their way through snowdrifts toward isolated settlements and forests. Their main objective was to save surviving animals and remove the bodies of those that had died. Rescuers delivered food, cleared paths, helped farmers evacuate livestock, and searched the forests for injured or weakened animals. Drones assisted them throughout the operation by helping locate animals more quickly. Late one evening, a man went outside to test his new camera drone. He operated it for half an hour and was preparing to return home when a mysterious object suddenly appeared in the sky. The closer it came, the more clearly its form resembled a human being. It looked as though someone had simply risen into the air and then continued moving parallel to the ground while maintaining the same altitude. The witness concluded that it was most likely an alien because human beings cannot fly. Drones are creating a genuine revolution in water rescue. In a critical situation where every second matters, an unmanned aircraft can reach a victim faster than any rescuer. Modern devices such as Emily systems or specialized drones from DJI can immediately deliver a life jacket or inflatable ring to a drowning person. The technology works simply and efficiently. An operator guides the drone to the victim using GPS, while the onboard camera allows the person's condition to be assessed in real time. Whether they can see the aircraft, whether they are staying afloat, and whether they need urgent assistance. Upon arrival, the drone drops a compact rescue module. This gives the drowning person support until a boat or rescue team arrives. Tourists traveling through a remote taiga region witnessed a terrifying sight. Before their eyes, the figure of a woman appeared above the treetops and produced heart-rending screams. The tourists were truly terrified and hurried away from the area. When they finally reached the nearest village and told local residents what had happened, no one was surprised. The villagers had long been accustomed to the presence of the spirit. According to them, it was the ghost of a woman who had once lost 2 children in the forest. Since then, her spirit has occasionally appeared in that place and repeated the same cries, as though trying to undo something that could never be undone. The locals insisted that the ghost posed no danger to other people. Even so, an encounter like this would be genuinely frightening. A man flew a drone over a forest in Utah to examine the area from above. Suddenly, a mysterious flying object appeared in the camera mounted on the aircraft. It flashed past at an incredible speed, moving so quickly that the human eye could barely have noticed it. It was definitely neither a bird nor an aircraft of earthly origin. The man later published the video online. It quickly attracted many views, and users actively discussed what they had seen. Many agreed that it was an extraterrestrial UFO because of its unusual shape and incredible speed. On the 8th of February, 2026, a speleologist traveled to Pinnacles National Park in California to explore little-known caves. When he approached one of the caves, a small creature suddenly appeared directly in front of him. It partly resembled a human, but its skin was gray, and a short tail could be seen behind it. After noticing the man, the mysterious creature quickly fled. It skillfully climbed a steep ledge inside the cave and disappeared into the darkness of a narrow passage. The speleologist assumed that the cave was the creature's home and therefore did not pursue it, although he was very interested in learning more about what he had encountered. A young man decided to explore a cornfield. Suddenly, the camera recorded a strange person wearing a clown costume. He had bright red hair, and the outfit looked worn, as though it had already been used for more than one day. The mysterious person noticed the drone and froze for a moment, staring directly into the lens. He then turned sharply and ran toward the dense forest, quickly disappearing among the trees. The clown was not a mythical creature, of course, but that did not make the encounter any less frightening. It is entirely possible that the person filming frightened away a maniac who imagined himself to be the central character in a horror film. What else could a person dressed as a clown be doing completely alone in the middle of a cornfield? A young man who enjoyed exploring abandoned and unusual places directed his drone toward an area that looked like a dump from a distance. As the aircraft approached, it became clear that it was not a dump at all, but a shelter where homeless people were living. As soon as the drone came closer, a person emerged from the shelter. He was extremely unhappy to see the aircraft above his home and repeatedly tried to damage it. The young man quickly moved the drone away because he did not want to escalate the situation. Later, he contacted social services and told them about the place. Social workers attempted to help the homeless people, but they refused to change their lives. In Eola Park, a woman was walking her dog and enjoying the fresh air and peaceful surroundings. At some point, the animal broke free from its leash and ran into the dense forest. Despite the daylight, she could not find the dog on her own. She then contacted rescuers. After arriving at the place where the pet had disappeared, the specialists launched a drone. The dog was soon found. It was carefully evacuated and returned to its anxious owner. This incident became a vivid example of how modern technology can help when human effort alone is not enough. A man launched a drone over a remote area of tundra and captured rare footage of wildlife. The video shows a herd of reindeer moving in a strange, hypnotic rhythm. The animals formed a tight circle and began rotating continuously, creating a living whirlwind. After the video was published online, it immediately went viral. Many viewers could not believe what they were seeing and even suggested that the footage had been edited. Biologists, however, quickly explained the phenomenon. They said that the behavior is known as a reindeer carousel. It is a unique defensive mechanism developed through evolution. When a predator threatens the herd, the reindeer form a ring to confuse the attacker and protect the young. The weakest members, females and calves, remain at the center, while adult males and stronger animals move along the outer edge. They continue moving so that a wolf or bear cannot select a target. The rotation becomes so rapid and monotonous that the predator loses its orientation and cannot launch a precise attack. A group of friends launched a drone to survey the area and admire the view from above. They did not expect to see anything unusual, but the camera suddenly recorded a man running quickly across a field. He was wearing an orange prison uniform. The friends immediately realized that they were looking at an escaped prisoner because a prison was located nearby. Without wasting time, they called the police and provided the exact coordinates of his location while continuing to watch the fugitive carefully with the drone. After some time, police officers arrived and detained the man. Thanks to the drone, the friends were able to help the police capture the escaped criminal. Two tourists found themselves in serious danger deep in the mountains. They were caught in severe weather. The sky filled with dark clouds. A blizzard began, and the wind grew stronger with every minute. Under those conditions, they quickly lost their bearings and became lost. But they made the correct decision. Instead of blindly moving forward and risking a fall from a cliff or wandering even farther from the trails, they immediately called rescuers. The weather made it impossible for a helicopter to reach them, so they had to wait for help for 5 hours. When conditions improved slightly, rescuers sent a drone over the area where the tourists were believed to be. It was the fastest and most accurate way to narrow the search zone before the weather worsened again. Within 15 minutes, the drone located the tourists. A helicopter departed immediately afterward, and the rescue team was able to evacuate them. This footage was recorded back in 2002. A wildlife researcher was studying a remote area of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. An unfamiliar cave caught his attention. He decided to approach it to examine the entrance and perhaps look inside. At that moment, an unusual creature emerged from the cave. It had a muscular body whose anatomy resembled that of a human, but its head, with large horns, seemed to belong to a buffalo or another large horned animal. The researcher was shocked and could not understand what he was seeing. His first thought was that it might be a person wearing a mask, but the creature's movements were unlike those of a human. The researcher then decided to leave a trail camera near the cave entrance. The next morning, the camera recorded the creature emerging from the cave again. After that, the researcher gathered his colleagues and returned with them to explore the cave. They examined every corner carefully, but found no one. The mystery of the sighting remained unsolved. While reviewing footage from a recent trip through a mountainous area, a tourist made a shocking discovery. A silhouette had accidentally appeared in the frame, peering from behind a massive rocky outcrop. When the man enlarged the image, he was overcome with fear. A genuine mountain giant was clearly visible on the screen. Judging by the footage, the creature was more than 20 meters tall, and its skin had a distinctive gray-ash color that blended almost perfectly with the surrounding rocks. That was why the tourist had noticed nothing unusual while filming. The traveler watched the moment several times and then remembered that, during the recording, he had clearly heard a strange, low rumble resembling a roar. At the time, he thought it had come from a wild animal, but now he realized that it had been the giant. The man deeply regrets that he was not more attentive because he might otherwise have captured better footage of the enormous creature. That is all for today. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell. Your activity is the best reward for me. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.